Hi there folks, and welcome to your press conference Jersey Night Reaction, brought to you in association with Forest Precision Engineering and our friends at Football Prizes after Rangers 2-1 defeat to Motherwell here today at Ibrox. Joined by Scott Bradley as always. Scott, where do you start with that one? Really bad day at the office. Just never went right for us today. We couldn't get going. We started the game pretty slowly. And to be honest, it kind of lingered on really, and it was tough one to take this today.
Oh, it was, yeah. Rangers deserved absolutely nothing out of that game. It was a real... honestly, I was shocked at the performance, considering the fact that Rangers beat Hearts 5-0 last week, put in a really good second half performance against Kilmarnock during the week, right? And if you're going to think Rangers were going to lose one of these games this week, you would have thought it would have been against Kilmarnock, not Motherwell. But yeah, just from start to finish, nothing went right for Rangers. Nothing went Rangers' way. Defensively, it was a car crash, and it has to be said, Connor Goldson had a shocker. He had an absolute shocker. He got absolutely bullied from Bear up front. He had a tremendous game. It was even up front as well in the final third. Nothing was going Rangers' way. It was just there was a real lack of quality there, and of course that is expected due to the fact that Cortez is out, which is a massive blow. Craig, is a devastating blow. He seems really coming on to a game, and obviously we all as well know about Sima. He's out as well. So when it comes to the wide areas, Craig, Rangers are in big trouble. And we've seen McCausland as well. He picked up an injury today after a shocker off a tackle that he received from Casey, who in my opinion should have been sent off. But regardless, so Rangers deserved nothing out of that game. It was just a terrible performance, and it was just flat all round.
Well, that's the thing, it's like there's plenty of games where, you might come back into it and draw the game, or you might win the game narrowly, and you'd say, Motherwell, they might have been good for a point, they might have deserved a point. Motherwell didn't just deserve a point today. I think they actually deserved all three, and when that's happening, that's when it's a big worry. I just don't understand the drop-off in the level of performance, and it seemed today that all Motherwell had to do was try harder, because, let's be honest, right, they're not a good team. They've done an absolute number on us today, but I look back at the game we played them at Fir Park. We should have won that game about 4 or 5-0. We just weren't taking our chances. Today, it wasn't even a case of not really taking our chances. We had chances at the end, but there's no point if you're going to start creating big chances as soon as injury time hits. It's too late. And even then, if you get a goal, the chances that you get another one to win it are nigh on impossible. We never get going today. We were limited to crosses into the box and high balls in, and it just wasn't working out. And the changes that we made, I think it was the right decision to bring Lawrence on at half time, but apart from that, we just seemed to play the same system. We brought on Rutherford Dessers, but that was a straight change. It wasn't so much that Dessers was the issue in terms of not taking chances and all that. I actually thought Dessers' performance today was alright, but his problem was he was too busy drifting out wide and not actually staying in the box or staying in the middle to take care of the chances. And we never changed the system. I thought he could have brought on Scott Wright. I know it's a bad day when you're kind of looking to Scott Wright as a saviour, but
big time.
You can only play what you've got, and the squad is stretched. I understand that, but I do think that the manager could have made a couple of changes anyway to try and change things up. Yeah,
and that's the thing though, I do kind of sympathise with him because he's got very limited options. Like, it says that all wingers are having to play Sterling out right, who's not an actual winger. Fabio Silva out left, who is not a winger at all. He really struggled today, but there's only so much he can really do with what he's got, and obviously I'm no fan of Scott Wright, but I would have brought him on much earlier, because he's the only natural winger that we've got is fit right now, sadly. That's just the sad state of affairs. But yeah, if anything, it was like in the last 10 minutes, Craig, I felt like Rangers were going to lose it, because I don't do you remember when we played Hearts a few months ago, right? And also we were losing 1-0, then in stoppage time managed to come back and win the game.
Yeah.
See, in the last 10 minutes today, I didn't feel that Rangers were going to win it today or even equalise. Everything about the last 10 minutes was just so passive and just flat. There was no real urgency. There was no it was almost, I hate saying this, but it was almost like a like the fans just accepted the fact that Rangers were going to drop points today, and that's a criminal thing to say, but it's a fact. That's what the atmosphere was like amongst the support in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's been a few debates raging on today in the last few days about, you know, fans not staying to the 90 and all that, and look, I suppose people do what they want, especially when they're spending money, but you know, I'm a believer in the players need to give you something to shout about. Fair enough, they did do it against Hearts last week, but there's no point putting in their performances against Hearts when you're not able to do it against Motherwell. There's no point in doing that against Hearts, against Kilmarnock, as the golf trolley goes past us, if you can't do it at home at Motherwell. I think that's the first time Motherwell have beaten us in the top flight since 2002. First time they've beaten us at Ibrox since 1997. I think I wasn't even born. I think that defeat was like a couple of months before I was born, and we'd already won the league at that point as well. I mean, it's came out of nowhere, and you know, we'll try and be positive as positive as we can. We'll try and be as balanced as we can, but it's very difficult. You know, after we've went on this incredible run, we've done really well, and then we've just been shot right back down to earth again. And people will say this thing about these players, and you know, you mentioned Goldson earlier, he was poor. People will say, you know, same old story with Goldson, same old story with Lundstrom, who it wasn't his fault we get beat today. I thought Lundstrom was okay, but people will continue to look to these players who have let us down at big moments the last couple of years, and it does look as if they're doing it again. But at the same time, you want to try and be positive, you want to be upbeat and try not to be too downtrodden, because you know, nothing's finished yet, there's still a long way to go, but that is our sole win to do.
Oh yeah, no, 100%, Craig. Like, we all knew that Rangers were going to drop points. That was inevitable, of course. We're in a title race, that happens, right? But it was just, I'm not going to fault the players' effort today. It was there, but it was just that lack of quality. It was just nothing was going right for Rangers. Like, even touching on like our deliveries into the box, it was so predictable. Like Motherwell just eating them up. They were just eating them up left, right, and centre. They defensively they were fine, but they didn't have a lot of. They didn't have a whole great deal to deal with, you know. There was no real quality there. And it was like, you know what, the Rangers are desperate when it's just the same predictable, like, cross into the box over and over and over again. And it was a sore one to take. But I did not see this result coming today at all. Like, once Rangers equalised with James Tavernier, I thought Rangers were going to kick on and win it. Then when Motherwell got that second, the game was. It was almost like that second just took the wind out the players.
Yeah, I mean, when they scored the second, you kind of knew that we weren't coming back for it, and that's quite bad because there's still 15 minutes to go plus injury time at that point. And you know, I think, as I said earlier, I think the fans feed off the players, and you know, fans don't just boo and moan for nothing, right? Like they will do what, as I say, they'll feed off the players. But we could tell as soon as Motherwell scored that goal, we weren't getting back into that. And that's the first time we've experienced that under Clone. Obviously, we've had a defeat before against Celtic, but I thought the performance that day was pretty decent.
Yeah, it was a tight game.
Yeah, we probably should have got something for it. Only other poor performances really in the Limassol game at home. Apart from that, we've had the performances most of the time. And like you said, look, we are going to drop points. It is a title race, you know. To say races normally go to the wire, it's not something that's won or lost in February or March, but you know, you kind of would rather that we just drop points on Wednesday rather than this today, because it's like how you can go through those highs getting those results against the tougher teams to the day.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see what this transpires into. Manager mentioned it in the press conference, and it was mentioned to him. We don't have a league game now for 2 weeks, which could be a problem, because the next time that we play it will be Dundee away. Chances are we're going to be second in the table again. So, you know, to not have the chance to rectify that loss today, it's a blow. But you know, we've got a massive week still coming up. We've got Benfica in the Europa League. We've got Hibs on Sunday in the Scottish Cup, and you know, we'll be positive for the games. But at the same time, we still need to keep in mind that, you know, Benfica could go out and batter us on Thursday. We could effectively beat the Europa League. We could be knocked out the Scottish Cup on Sunday. So that's what I mean. It's about the tight margins. That's how a season can go. You know.
Yeah.
We were all shouting yesterday. Everything was amazing. This time next Sunday, things could be so different. So
yeah, I think it's a bit of a reality check for a lot of Rangers supporters. Like, obviously, you and I have been very confident and upbeat about like how well Rangers have been doing, and like obviously I still fancy Rangers to win this league, but it's, of course, it just shows you like it's not a complete guarantee, you know, because these kind of results happen, you know, freak results like that happen. And obviously, as come on to the presser, this is where he's going to find out about who the real characters are in this dressing room after suffering that kind of defeat. How are they going to react? How are they going to respond? What kind of character are they going to show? So it's going to be interesting to see the response in Thursday night. If Rangers lose on Thursday, if it's like 2-1, 3-1, or whatever, it's not going to be the end of the world, because Europa League's like a bonus, right?
The performance is
it's a bonus. It's basically it's a league in the Scottish Cup that it's the main focus, of course. But for me, I'm already looking ahead to the game against Hibs next Sunday, because that's massive. But like, if Rangers were to go out that Scottish Cup, that's when the alarm bells will start going. Because Hibs, in my opinion, they're not a good side. Like, they've been start under Mick Montgomery, but we need to see a real response next Sunday. That's for sure. Because Benfica are a good side, so I'm not exactly expecting a whole lot when it comes to game Thursday night.
No, we'll certainly see what happens in the next week. It is a massive weekend. The big games just
Sorry to interrupt, can I just say as well though, Rangers are a different animal in the Europa League, we all know that, so who knows? No one expected us to top the group and beat Real Betis, so you never know.
Hopefully. We'll just let these, I mean, as if the day couldn't get any worse. We keep having like the groundsman driving past and all that, completely ruining the post-match video. Cheers, mate. There we go, it's going down, but it's a big week coming up, but hopefully we can get the results anyway. But I think that'll leave us for today, guys. Just a wee bit of normal Jersey night housekeeping as well. Alec Anderson will be giving his usual post-match video, and we'll be back on tomorrow at the usual time at 9:30. I don't actually know who's on tomorrow, but you'll find out then anyway. But thanks very much for listening, guys, and just remember, at least you never went to Willy Wonka this week. Have a good weekend, guys. See you later.